Have you ever been cleaning a house and you're sweating profusely and you're at the customer's house and you raise your arm and your whole shirt is stained from sweating, or the whole front of your chest is stained from sweating? How do you look professional while you're sweating and while you're cleaning? It's a great question. I'm Angela Brown and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question and I get to help you find an answer. Now today we had a caller that called in and asked this question.
We currently have about 8 to 10 girls on our crew, and we wear collared shirts or t-shirts with our logo on them and black leggings. What I want to know is, what should we wear to look more professional or high-end? Because we have many different clients. Need some advice. Thank you.
All right, that is a great question. And before I answer that, I want to explain for a second what you wear and then why we wear a uniform. And then I will answer that question. So the first question is, how do you look professional? And the answer is you wear a collared shirt that's made of microfiber and it wicks away sweat and it is wrinkle resistant and it's iron free and it's stain resistant. Okay, that's the shirt that I'm wearing right now. I'll leave links in the show notes if you guys want to get one. They're very inexpensive. They're like 15 bucks. And I start with 7 of them. I use about 5 at a time. And then later on in the year, if they start to get dingy or they start to fall apart, then I will go ahead and throw another one into the mix. So I've got 7 that I use on a rotating basis. My secret is this though, and I wear the same clothes every day, every day. These shirts last me probably 2 or 3 years before I actually have to buy a new set. And I will just throw in 1 or 2 as I need to kind of revamp my style. Okay, so the point is this. If you look nice and if it wicks away sweat, you're not sweating, it doesn't show the sweat. So you will always look professional while you're wearing a shirt like this. Now, I'm not saying I'm right, you're wrong. What I'm saying is I think it's really important to have a uniform as a house cleaner. And so I'm going to share with you now the reason why, and then we'll answer this question. The reason why is this. When you show up and you look the same every single time you go to a customer's house, you're wearing the same shirt, the same pants, the same shoe covers, the same gloves, you're wearing now the same face mask or whatever, you send a consistent message. And so the customer expects you're going to show up every single time. They expect I'll show up in a blue shirt, right? When I show up to do my YouTube channel, you expect I'm going to show up in a blue shirt. If I had my hair down and I was wearing a red shirt, you'd be like, whoa, it's a new Angela, right? Something's different. So it sends a different message when you change things up. And I'm not saying don't be individualistic. I'm saying don't be individualistic on the job, okay? Let me make that very clear. I want you to express yourself and I want you to be yourself and I want you to comfortably be you, but not on the job. On the job, I want you to be comfortable and professional. And I want you to look the same every single time you show up. Every single time you show up, if you look consistent, your clients think, oh, I'm getting the same quality job. And then they recommend that to their friends and their neighbors. But if you show up every time looking different, unconsciously, the customer says, wait a second, something's different today. I don't know what it is. And they start looking at your work. And you get lots of callbacks because the customer can't figure out what it is, but something's different today, okay? So it's really important to look the same every single time you show up. Now, I specifically request that all the cleaners, a savvy cleaner, wear their hair up in a bun. And I've had lots of people comment about this. Well, I'm an individual. I can wear my hair however I want. It's not that we don't want you to wear your hair however you want. It's that while you're on a cleaning job, we don't want your hair to fall out and leave hair at the customer's house. So if you pull your hair back in a really tight knot and then you spray it or you gel it, your hair is going to stay glued in place while you're on the job, okay? When you get home, you can let your hair flow and do all kinds of fun things and drop hair in your own house, but don't do it in the customer's house because you will get a callback if you drop hair in the customer's house, okay? So that's the reason for that. And the reasons we dress like this is because we want to blend into our clientele. Lots of golfers, lots of high-end families wear collared shirts. It's part of who they are. And so if I showed up in sweats and I showed up with a tank top, for example, I look different from them. And while they may not care and they may welcome me into their home, it's unlikely they would feel comfortable recommending me to their friends if I don't look like them. I'm different, right? So we want to elevate ourselves to the clientele that we're charging because we want to charge top dollar for our services. And so if you look top dollar and you act top dollar, it sends a message that I'm a professional, I'm certified, I'm trained, I'm educated, I know what I'm doing here. Whereas if you just kind of show up whatever, with whatever attitude you have, you also send that message, right? We want to get the most bang for our buck. which is why we dress with consistency, the reasons we pull our hair back. It's the reason that we are as professional as we are, because that's the message that we're sending, and we're going to charge top dollar for that. So that's the reason for the uniform. The next part of the uniform is unconsciously, there's a certain behavior pattern that we expect from someone in a uniform. So if you show up looking like a house cleaner, we expect you can clean houses. Just like when my doctor shows up and he's wearing a lab coat, I expect he knows what he's doing. If my doctor showed up in leggings and a tank top, I'd be like, no, don't do that, No, wrong guy or wrong girl. I want the person that looks the part. If my plumber showed up, instead of a carrying tool case, if he brought instead a grocery bag with his tools in it, I'd be like, no, I don't want that plumber. I want the real guy, right? There's an unconscious thing that happens in our mind when someone shows up in a uniform. So back to the question, how do you look more professional? Well, one of the things that I love is you say you have 10 or 12 people on your team. That's awesome, because when you wear uniforms across the board, it equalizes everyone. There's nobody that has too fancy clothes and nobody that doesn't have clothes that are fancy enough. It equalizes everyone. It's inclusive. The next thing is, if you have to replace the main house cleaner, let's say that you have a house cleaner that's a main house cleaner for every house. If that person calls out sick or they have a family emergency and you have to send someone else in, guess what? You're sending in someone that looks just like them. They're wearing the same uniform. They got their hair pulled back in the same bun. They have the same, guess what? The customer expects they have the same quality of service. And so they're not going to do a callback on that person because they think, oh, look, it's the same. It's all the same. So the reasons that we wear uniforms are to create consistency and to make our customers feel safe. I know that sounds like a really weird thing, but when you remove the doubt, what you're doing is sending a message of confidence and control. And so when you show up looking the same every single time, and you do the same quality work every single time, customers get safe and they get comfortable and they feel great about recommending that to their family and friends, right? So as far as this particular question goes, what would you do to be more professional? I wouldn't do anything else. I would wear the same khaki pants with the big pockets. I would wear the same comfortable shoes with the shoe covers. I would wear the same latex gloves, the same collared shirt. And like I said, you can wear a microfiber cloth that is wrinkle resistant and stain resistant, and it absorbs sweat, and you don't look ugly when you're cleaning, and all those things, right? They sell inexpensive fabrics that do that. They're active fabrics for house cleaners. And so my recommendation is just wear something that looks professional and is comfortable and that you can tuck in so that when you bend over, it doesn't ride up and you don't see, people's panty lines or down their butt cracks or whatever. You want to look as professional as you can, even if you're moving and bending and whatever, but you have to be comfortable because there's a lot of movement in cleaning. So I just want to bring this up as the reasons why we wear uniforms and what you can wear to be professional. Logo printed on it or not, that's your personal preference, but I do want you to be comfortable and I do want you to wear a uniform. All right, if you found this helpful, give us a thumbs up. If you have questions, leave them in the notes below. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.